Hey Lana,
Hello, Julia.
I'm thinking of watching Too Hot to Handle, but I'm not really sure what it's about.
10 hot singletons, 1 romantic Mexican villa, and a $100,000 cash prize.
Surely that's just Love Island 2.0.
But they cannot have sex of any kind.
What?
I know, right? That shit cray.
Hola chicas! Welcome to my channel Reviews with Jules. Make sure to click that subscribe button. Like Lana said, Too Hot to Handle is about 10 singletons who go to a paradise island, but the twist is they cannot have sex. If they stick to these rules, they'll get a share of $100,000 prize fund. But if they break them, money gets deducted from the pot. The goal is for the serial dating swipers to make more meaningful connections with one another. Too Hot to Handle is available to stream on Netflix right now, and there is only 8 episodes of about 30 to 40 minutes in length, which means you could binge the whole series in less than 4 to 5 hours. I loved Too Hot to Handle's concept straight away, and I was instantly hooked because I feel like temptation is something that we can all relate to. I also really liked the fact that the cast were diverse in some ways. Obviously they're all fit, but you know, it was nice to see that there was a bit more of a range in there, particularly because they were all from different countries. So you had loads of different accents in there and regional accents, which was really nice to see. And I also really liked the workshops that they did, but I won't spoil that. But it was definitely an interesting mix to put in there. And finally, what I really liked the most was the fact that the goal was for people to make meaningful connections. It wasn't necessarily to couple up. And I feel like some of the people by the end of it had actually more self-worth and self-improvement. So instead of just a typical dating show, there was something more to it, which is what I really liked. What I didn't like about the show was Lana. I'm not 100% sold on her, and I think that they took away the sort of emotion of a presenter, but I felt like they were trying to make it a little bit more technological. They were trying to be techie. Now, enough about Lana. Although I said the cast were quite diverse, that's as much as it can be for these types of dating shows, but I do feel that they could have gone maybe a little bit further and it would have made it a little bit more groundbreaking. Also, the music choices were a little bit wacky and a little bit out there, and I think the editors were having a laugh with us. But finally, what I wanted to discuss about my dislike of the show was that it's so comparable to Love Island. The editing techniques of the lights going across the screen, the bedroom setup, the fire pit, you know, even the introductions of all the characters are so similar. And although it's quite nice to have that familiarity, obviously somebody's trying to make the next big Love Island, but I feel like they could have been so much more original, and with this concept of no sex, just that alone was so original in itself. I really feel that they could have gone a little bit further with how they edited and put the whole footage together. When I came to watching, I was flicking through the channels thinking, yeah, I'll give this a go, hot, sexy people. And then I looked at myself, realised my hair was in a messy bun, and I was wearing the same jumper that I had been for 3 days. It is so important to say everyone's bodies are completely different and individual, and that is what makes you perfect. But if you do have low self-esteem, I wouldn't recommend probably watching this program. But if you're an intellectual like me, I recently got a degree, then you might get some amusement out of it, because some of them,
not the brightest spark in the book.
right, characters. There were 10 main singletons, and throughout the series there were a couple more, but I'm only going to be focusing on the original 10 and summing them up in a sentence or less. Let's go. Chloe. She was my absolute favourite, but I think that's because I related to her. She definitely had the best and most personality out of the whole entire cast, but she did really play on that Essex stereotype. Babes! Babes! What babes? Babes! Where? Babe. Sharon. Really nice guy, but particularly overguarded and protective. Hayley, a sorority sister and a kind of a stereotypical blonde bimbo, but as you see later on in the series, she turns a little bit nasty. Francesca, she was instantly branded as the hottest girl in the cast. I think that's because she looks a bit like a Kardashian, but it's no surprise she breaks most of the rules and the hearts. Harry. He was like a cheeky little chappy from Oz. I absolutely loved his accent, but he came across a little bit immature at times. Also, his catchphrase was, "You naughty little possum." David, all round nice guy. Not really much else to say, he was just nice. Rhonda, sweet person and the most genuine in the whole cast. Nicole. She started off really well, and I love an Irish accent, but she didn't really have any screen time, so I didn't really get to know her very well, and kind of felt sorry for her for that. Matthew. A Jesus lookalike, probably the hottest in my opinion, because I quite like long hair, but he came across a little bit pretentious. Kells is all about the money, despite almost being distracted by a certain someone. I really enjoyed Too Hot to Handle, and it's because I kind of like trash TV, and it's something that you don't really have to pay too much attention to, but you also find yourself weirdly being drawn in and really addictive. Therefore, I rated Too Hot to Handle with 4 Jules. If you like this video, click that subscribe button, and if you want to watch more like it, click these videos over here. But one more thing. There is also one extra episode on Netflix right now, which is Too Hot to Handle, The Reunion. So make sure to check that one out. Ciao for now!